and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, where we have lots to discuss, because there has been another embarrassing Barca defeat, and we're going to be talking today about Xavi. Is his job in danger? Should it be right now? Just how bad are things at Barca in this moment? We're going to be going through everything today, what we saw last night against Antwerp, the knock-on effects that defeat may have in the Champions League, and what we've been seeing right the way through the season. And we're also going to be talking about big reports in the media right now. So many different reports emerging regarding Xavi, regarding Laporta, regarding Deco. We're putting it all on the line today. So let's do it. Because let me first of all start by saying today, guys, and making this clear, what we saw last night against Antwerp, we cannot excuse that by saying, well, the game didn't mean anything anyway. We weren't playing for anything. It was acceptable to lose the game in the way that we did. Let's not forget here, financially, we're desperate for money. There was 2.8 million euros on the line in yesterday's match, and we performed in that way. Do not forget as well that as soon as we play our last game in 2023, one day after that, the whole squad are flying right across the world for a friendly match in America for not much more than 2.8 million. That's how desperate we are. And yesterday, that was the effort we saw from everybody involved. So we cannot say here we didn't care about yesterday's game. The club needs wins. The club needs revenue coming in. We failed on that front yesterday. And let's also say as well, Antwerp had not gained a single Champions League point before last night's game. Not a single point. It's embarrassing to lose that game with a team mainly consisting of first-team players. And this is not just on Xavi, but every single player involved in yesterday's game who didn't give it their all, who didn't apply themselves, who didn't arrive with the right mentality to go out there and do your job. That is unacceptable. Because what I would like to say now is that these kinds of performances, it's not just about one game. This has a knock-on effect in the Champions League, because it's about the message you send out. It's about the way that you present yourself as a player, as a club in this competition, because ahead of the round of 16, this is what we're hearing now. These are the kinds of things that we've invited upon ourselves. You've got Lazio coach Maurizio Sarri last night saying, in the round of 16, I actively want to play Barcelona. He said, I've never faced Barca as a coach, and it would be a wonderful experience. Now look, Sarri may want that special moment against Barca. We don't know. But what I would say is, if we just steamrolled our way through the group, if we just reeled off 5 out of 5 wins, do you really think any coach out there would be saying, I want to play Barca, I want to come up against them? Every team in this tournament wants to get as far as they can. We should never, ever hear coaches and people coming out saying, we want to play Barca. The fear factor is not there, and we have done nothing, absolutely nothing in this group stage to reinstill that fear factor. Because the only message that we've sent out is that we are still unconvincing. Because then there is the matter of Xavi's European record, because Xavi last night became the Barca coach with the highest percentage of defeats with Barca in the Champions League. He has a 42% losing record there. 6 losses in 14 games this season. Of course, we have lost not only to Antwerp, but also to Shakhtar, which was still embarrassing. Very, very unacceptable. And I actually feel as though when you're looking at Xavi's European record, when you look at the way that we haven't been convinced by it, that's been an area that we've said we've got to do better. Xavi has to show us that he can manage at this level. And I feel as though Xavi actually had more to prove than these players in the group stage. This was a time for him to actually say, okay, I can do it. I can show that we can reel off wins, that we can be very, very convincing. Has anybody been convinced by Barca in the Champions League this season? Particularly away from home still. No matter who we're playing, you're just not confident. You do not feel as though we're equipped, that we're organised, that we are structured well enough to compete at the very, very highest level. And especially now, moving on to the knockout stages. Look, we're glad that we're there. We can't hide that. We desperately wanted to reach this stage, and I'm happy that we have. But now bigger and better teams await us. Now even bigger challenges are on the horizon. And can we find any way to rise to them? And I think the first thing that really needs to happen when you're thinking about Xavi, when you're thinking about the fact here that he's quite a young coach, he is still learning, I'm sure. He always seems to talk about being self-critical there, looking at ourselves, looking at what we need to do, looking at our mistakes and trying to fix them. All I want to know is, are you actually going to do that? Are we going to see that from you as the Barca coach? Because at a club like Barca, you've got to continue to evolve. You've got to continue to improve. You've got to continue there to look within and think, okay, are there things that I could do differently? Are there different ways that I could be going about this? Because I would take a perfect example there of Luis Enrique at the club at the start of 2015, our treble-winning season. Things were unravelling. You remember the famous match away at Real Sociedad at the Anoeta when he fully attempted Luis Enrique to go toe-to-toe with the heavyweights in the dressing room, to take them on, and it was absolute chaos. And it was only then in the fallout of that game, in a crisis situation, when his job looked to be on the line, that Lucho understood, okay, that's not going to work here. That's not going to be the best approach. This is not the way to get the best out of my players. And he realised, I've got to adapt. I have to find a way here to make it work. I've got to look within myself to change my approach. And that's the key now for me with Xavi. In order to change, in order to make it work, you have to recognise there's a problem. He has to realise here, this is not good. We are not moving now in the right direction. And if you can't see there's a problem, if you cannot actually identify that, look, this situation will not work, there really is no helping you. And that is exactly why right now I truly do believe there are doubts inside of the club. And I truly do believe here that inside of the Barcelona board, they are worried. They are concerned about what they are seeing, because it's not just about here seeing mistakes happen from your coach, from your team. That can happen. Any game can be a bad one. You know, in football, from one game to the next, things can go on. But it's more about here repeat mistakes, repeat bad performances, because how many times this season have we just seen the same? We need change. We need to actually see that something is going on behind the scenes, that we are in the process of actually finding a way through this, and there's no light right now. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. We're not being given anything, and there's a lot of rumours right now regarding Deco and regarding Xavi that their relationship is becoming very, very fractured, because I remember, guys, not so long ago, of course, when Deco arrived as the sporting director at the club, immediately after he arrived, there were a lot of rumours about Xavi's power at the club suddenly being reduced, and how he would react to that, and how Deco would approach his job at the club. Because don't forget, guys, when Xavi first came in under Laporta, he was given everything. He was given the keys to basically do whatever he wanted to do. He had full power, full control over every situation. Now, as time has gone on, has the faith from the board in Xavi reduced? Has he therefore then been given less and less power as time has gone on? Deco has come in, appointed solely by Laporta. He's Laporta's man inside of the club. And I think now you see after this game, very different views from Xavi and indeed Deco about the squad list. Xavi was saying there, look, this was decided upon by everybody. The board did have some input into the squad for this game, and Deco coming out clearly saying that didn't happen. We did not get involved. That is solely down to the coach. And already here, we are starting to see cracks appearing. But I do just want to say, and I do want to make it very clear here, guys, we can't believe every rumour from the media, because then you hear about today some sort of tense call where Deco was on the phone with Frankie de Jong before this game. Frankie was saying, I'm ill. The media said that Deco was shouting at him saying, are you really ill? Have you got a doctor's note to prove that? I don't believe that happened. I believe there are some rumours right now within the media whereby they're taking advantage of this current situation. They realise that at Barca, things are tense, things are emotional. That doesn't just mean, though, you can start making things up. I do not believe at all that that phone call, that bad phone call happened between Deco and Frankie. But what about Laporta? That, of course, is the biggest question of all, because after yesterday's game against Antwerp, again, Laporta visited the dressing room. He went down there to see the players, to see Xavi. Apparently, the mood was very serious. It was very quiet within that dressing room, but Laporta was attempting there to encourage the team. But that is the second instance that we've seen Laporta visiting the players, playing an active role there, and ultimately, I think, saying to them, look, we're in a serious time. We need to get it together. But I think when it comes down to Xavi's job, and I think when you're talking here about danger, when you're talking about Xavi continuing at the club, it all does still come down to Laporta right now. And I think Laporta still has confidence in Xavi. I still see that continuing right now, unless things get a lot worse. And of all the people that you need to have support of you at Barca, Laporta, of course, is the only one that counts. And that is Xavi's big hope right now, that he can still hold the faith of Laporta, that he can still continue in his work. And in the words of Xavi right now, he said after the game against Antwerp, all of this will change. All of the feeling will change by winning on Saturday in Valencia. He said the bad feelings may be on the outside, they may be in the fan base, they may be in the media, but there is nothing on the inside. From the inside of the club, we are all fine. And only time will tell. The game on Saturday against Valencia, guys, it is absolutely huge. Because what we're seeing, what we're feeling, it can't continue. The back-to-back losses here against Girona, now Antwerp, this can't go on. Something has to give. We've been saying that for weeks now. Something has to. Because I continue to say, this Barca, it's not good enough. So please, guys, do once again let me know your emotions in the comments down below. Let me know how you are feeling right now. And the one question that I would really have for you, how bad do you feel things are? How much of a concern is what we're seeing right now? And how can you relate that to other periods maybe in Barca history? Where do you feel we're at right now? And can we emerge out of this crisis situation that we appear to be in? Let me know that down below. I will see you soon. Massive game on Saturday. Absolutely huge. I'll catch you then. But until next time, guys, as always, Visca El Barça.